Cash, credit, or Afterpay?
What's Afterpay?
Well, it's kind of like having the abs now, but getting 6 weeks to do the sit-ups. If credit cards and cash.
Just hours after his arrest.
I am highly confident that when all of the evidence is laid bare in connection with these cases, when it is all known, when due process occurs, that I will be fully exonerated and justice will be done.
On Monday, U.S. prosecutors on both coasts charging Avenatti with a number of serious federal crimes. Prosecutors in New York say Avenatti tried to extort up to $25 million from Nike, allegedly threatening the shoe giant if they didn't pay up, he would release information he claimed would damage the company. On Monday, just minutes before his arrest, Avenatti tweeting that he planned to hold a press conference to disclose a major high school college basketball scandal perpetrated by Nike that we have uncovered.
Avenatti used illegal and extortion.
Good afternoon. Let me start by thanking State Attorney Kim Foxx and her exceptional staff for their dedication and professionalism that they have exhibited while working with me and my clients over the last few weeks. The City of Chicago and Cook County are very fortunate to have Kim Foxx and her professional staff at the helm of this criminal prosecution, and I am highly confident, extremely confident, that at the end of this journey, R. Kelly will be convicted on multiple counts. Ms. Foxx, from the very first moment that I approached her in connection with the information that we had uncovered, has been nothing but dedicated and professional. She gave me her personal assurance the first time that I met her in person earlier this month that she was going to see to it that a fair and thorough investigation was conducted by her office, that they were going to be diligent and beyond thorough as it related to getting to the bottom of this evidence and potentially bringing criminal charges against R. Kelly. This has not been a rush to judgment by any stretch of the imagination. They have been very thorough, as I said earlier, dedicated, and methodical in their investigation. I presently represent 6 clients, 2 victims, 2 parents, as well as 2 whistleblowers who can both be described as knowers tape. Mr. Kelly, on at least one occasion, told associate number 1 that he would be, quote, dead, close quote, if another copy of the first tape surfaced. Mr. Kelly also bragged to associate number 1 that he had dotted his I's and crossed his T's, quote unquote, and that the young girl who was depicted in the videos and the young girl's family would not testify against him in connection with the trial because he had relocated them and paid them off. It was subsequently learned that Mr. Kelly, through multiple means, had paid the young victim and her family over $2 million not to testify and come forward in connection with the 2008 trial. So to those R. Kelly fans who want to talk about the 2008 trial and the fact that he was acquitted, it was bogus. R. Kelly bought his acquittal. He bought this victim and their parents and ensured that the truth was never told to that jury in 2008.
Stormy Daniels, in her first statement since her high-profile attorney was arrested on suspicion of domestic violence, tells NBC News, these are serious and obviously very troubling allegations, but right now that is all they are, allegations. The adult film star says she'll reserve judgment until after an investigation, adding, of course, I do not condone violence against women, and if these allegations prove true, I will be seeking new representation. Avenatti has represented Daniels in her case against Donald Trump, in which she says she was paid to stay quiet about an alleged affair, something the president denies. As for Avenatti's case, Los Angeles police have not identified the victim, as Avenatti vehemently denies doing anything wrong. His estranged wife and his ex-wife both say he's never been physically violent toward them. Now, in a new twist, the attorney's hinting a right-wing conspiracy theorist could be setting him up. He's often made his case on camera, but Avenatti now finds himself the center of conversation.
We know him. He comes on the show. It was very upsetting to hear this, very disappointing. If it proves to be true, I will disavow him.
But Avenatti insists it's not true. Released from jail and fighting, he says, to clear his name.
I have never struck a woman. I never will strike a woman. I have been an advocate for women's rights my entire career. I am confident that I will be fully exonerated.
He's at Nike. The allegations of misconduct were similar in kind to those that formed the core of a prior criminal prosecution brought by our office, that payments were made to families of high school basketball players. In that meeting, and in subsequent conversations that were recorded as part of our investigation, Avenatti threatened to hold a press conference at which he would make these allegations public if the company did not agree to his financial demands. Avenatti, in that meeting and in subsequent conversations that were recorded as part of our investigation, Avenatti threatened to hold a press conference at which he would make these allegations public if the company did not agree to his financial demands. Avenatti promised to forego the press conference and allow the company to avoid financial harm if the company agreed to pay his client $1.5 million and for Avenatti himself to retain Avenatti and another co-conspirator to conduct a multi-million-dollar internal investigation, that the company did not request.
Nearly 100 years in prison. So we sat down with him less than a day after he was released on $300,000 bond. He maintains his innocence and told us he believes he'll be exonerated.
Prosecutors are saying that you committed extortion,
that you committed wire fraud and bank fraud in California. Did you try to extort Nike for millions of dollars?
I'm talking about, is it a three-way sexual relationship?
Sexually? Well, first of all, I'm not here to talk about my personal life, and I would never share with no one what I do in or outside of the bedroom. And as a woman, I'm sure you would not either.
Yes. No, I wouldn't, but
okay then. No, you're
next
right. Question.
No, you're right. I would not, but this is a very different circumstance.
It's not a different circumstance. There are people all over the world who have multiple girlfriends. It's no different.
Do both of you all believe you're in love with him?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course.
Should your parents be concerned?
No.
Why?
Well, my parents knew where I have always been for 4 years. They have known. They know that I've been well taken care of.
They never thought you were missing, Azrael. They just were wondering if you were okay.
Well, my parents have actually came to Chicago and seen me a few times. I've talked to them. They stopped answering my calls.
You know what they say? They say that you were brainwashed. I talked to your dad last night. He says, my daughter is brainwashed, and he's very concerned. He said he was here 2 days ago, and you wouldn't even look him in the eye.
Okay, I wouldn't look him in the eye because he's a liar, and he's a manipulative liar.
I'll tell you why they're concerned, Azrael, because they say she's 17. We found text messages that indicated that she was having sex with R. Kelly when she was 17. Is that true?
No, that is a lie. That is a lie. I was not having sex with him at 17.
Why would they want to lie about you, their daughter?
Okay, so when I first met Robert, my parents told me to lie about my age. So when I met him, he thought that I was 18. On top of that, when I was 17, my parents were actually making me, trying to get me to take photos with him, take sexual videos with him, all kinds of stuff.
Wait. Your parents encouraged you to do sexual videos with R. Kelly?
Yes. And they said because if they ever have to blackmail him, what they're trying to do now, they can use it against him, which is exactly what they're doing.
Joycelyn, I see you nodding a lot with what she's saying. Why are you nodding in agreement with what she's saying?
Because everything that she's saying is true. My parents are basically out here just to get money, and
your parents, you're saying the same as saying?
Well, both of our parents are basically out here trying to get money and scam because they didn't agree on what happened, you know, with music or wherever it could be, and they're just very upset.
This is the first time hearing, to be honest with you, that your parents are trying to get money from R. Kelly. Because your father told a very different story to me last night.
Yeah, he's the manipulative. He's very manipulative, so he's the one you need to watch out for. But my dad and my mom, they started to send threats to both me and him. They said, oh, I'll put all your naked pictures all over the world. I'm going to ruin you. I'm going to ruin him. If he doesn't send $20,000 to this bank account by Monday, oh, I'm going to put everything out there and then $10,000 after that. You're trying to solicit me like I'm some hoe.
Just hours after his arrest.
I am highly confident that when all of the evidence is laid bare in connection with these cases, when it is all known, when due process occurs, that I will be fully exonerated and justice will be done.
On Monday, U.S. prosecutors on both...
Okay, y'all, so y'all heard me. And y'all see me. And this was a long train ride, okay? Because I had to put a lot of footage together to remind you guys what happened. This was like almost over 2.5 years ago of footage, okay, that I had to remind you guys of. And it was hard editing all this stuff, but it got done. However, I put all that together to show you the hypocrisy in all of this. To show you that when Avenatti did an interview with Jericka Duncan, how they were up close, and how she allowed him to talk. And she didn't ridicule him like her boss did, okay? Like her superior did, Gayle King, did to R. Kelly. And she didn't do that with Michael Avenatti. She let him speak. You know what I mean? She didn't talk over him. She didn't try to catch him in lie. She didn't try to do any of that. I've often told you and showed you about how Gayle King interviewed the girlfriends and how Azrael was confident. That was not a woman or a young lady that seems to be brainwashed. And neither did Joycelyn. And I found it to be very funny is that even after that time, from then to now, things have changed completely. Like, so many people have turned the tables and now believe that R. Kelly have been set up. And I'm grateful for that. Some celebrities are starting to talk out about it, which is good. They think it's not fair and it's unjust, which is good. But then we have Michael Avenatti trying to extort money from Nike by threatening to do a press conference to damage their reputation. And if their reputation is damaged, their stocks and bonds will go down. And this is what he was extorting from them if he didn't get his way. And I find it very funny that I told you guys in 2019, they know the power of scrutiny. They know the power of ruining your reputation. The very same thing that he did to Nike and what the FBI have went in front of a press conference and said, this is why he extorted them and he threatened to go public. This is the very same thing he did to R. Kelly. Continuously to go public over and over. And I've told you 2 or 3 different footages about him doing a press conference on R. Kelly, only to find out he a criminal himself. Only to find out he a criminal himself. This is interesting. It's interesting. And the hypocrisy is he doesn't get treated like R. Kelly. The systemic racism. Our judicial system is really messed up, especially when you are a person of color. So these are the things that I think that we need to talk about when we just say R. Kelly is guilty. Because I often pointed out something really important to you guys. I've often pointed out when Azrael said something about her parents sold them like she was some hoe. I told you that the parents had something to do with it. And this was before I got into any sector on these YouTube streets. I didn't even know who a lot of these other bloggers was when I said this. I was in my car by myself and didn't know none of you when I said that. And I just thought that, wow. And then Michael Avenatti does a press conference and he said something about R. Kelly paid off his victim and the parents. Well, I found that to be interesting, considering the fact that there were people on here saying, where were the parents? And people was like, well, he shouldn't say that because that's saying that he did it. Well, you can look at it that way. But you also can look at it, the glass the other way. Well, if that was the case, if the parents were supposed to sell their daughters and they didn't get the money and this is why they turned them in, shouldn't the parents be? I mean, I'm staying quiet for so long. I don't understand what you want me to say. Should the parents be co-defendants if that was the case? The hypocrisy in this is all real. But I'm going to do a real special breakdown for a special person later. I'm definitely. They was on the comment train, but they're going to get a special breakdown. All right. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe.